Hallelujah. There we go. So fortune is in the follow-up. And where to start is often the hardest part. So what we like to do is give you all the tools that you need, that you'll be comfortable to contact people. Because always remember, and it is so easy to forget with Clean Easy, because we're so lucky insofar as the products move so quickly and so easily, but we're a network marketing company. That's what we are. And network marketing's a lot of people all doing a little. And the only way we'll get a lot of people is us doing a little and showing other people how to do it exactly the same. So don't get caught in a retail trap. Gavin Scott used to do a training, and it was a man sitting in a rowing boat. And the rowing boat had 2 oars. And if you pull on both of them, you will get somewhere. If you only pull on one oar, you'll just go round in circles. And Clean Easy tends to be a wee bit like that. So this is one of the tools that you'll need to contact people. The strongest way is to speak to people, but I do appreciate that more and more people are uncomfortable giving total strangers their telephone numbers, or if they do, they're then uncomfortable answering the call. So we've got lots of other ways now though. It's absolutely wonderful. Once upon a time, if you had a number and they wouldn't answer it, you had no other way of getting in touch other than sending them a letter. Now we've got Facebook Messenger, we've got Facebook calling, email, we've got text, and the majority of people will respond to Messenger. And if they don't, you still see that they've read the message. And if they do, great. But what happens? Well, let's start right from the beginning. If someone comments on your ad, now this can be a post for a product, or it's a post to look for people. And tonight we are concentrating on the looking for people. So nice and simple. Thank you, Jack, remembering to tag his name. If you or one of your friends would like information, please ask them to message me. Now that's just a like on a Facebook message. If they've made a comment or asked a question, like what is it, always take it off the page. Not because someone said, is that because you're embarrassed? Well, no, it's because if you answer on the page and give people information on that page, no one else from that page is going to have any reason to get in touch with you. So if you take it off the page to private message, it means that other people who see it comment, then you get the opportunity to speak to them as well. So if they've made a comment and asked a question, thank you, Jack. Can you message me, please, and I'll reply with the information. Now, don't be misled. Not everybody is going to message you. Why? I don't know. But as Jim Rohn used to say, don't join that class. Let's not procrastinate, or let's not overanalyze about why they're not going to message you. Just reply to the people who do. The message, when it comes through, they might just say, can you tell me more about how to make money on Facebook? Now, do have a wee message ready that you can send back so that you're just copy and pasting it. You want to respond to those as quickly as possible. If you're an insomniac like Kate, then yes, you'll respond whenever. If you're like me, you go to your bed. Switch it off. I don't take my phone to my bedroom, ever. Even when I want to set the alarm, I set the alarm on Jim's phone because fewer people will ping. This is really about the people who although they've commented, maybe don't message you. But you see, if you work the system correctly, you'll be too busy focusing on the ones who are interested and who do comment and then message you. And then you'll get people out of that who are joining, and you won't worry about the ones that don't get back to you. So don't get hung up with, I might lose them. Just contact the ones you can. So once you've received a message, here's the first contact reply. And I always have this in my phone so I can reply to a text, in Messenger so I can reply to Facebook, in my email so I can reply via email. And it actually doesn't vary a great deal. I do have to change my link to the shop, but that's pretty much the only thing I have to. Isn't it funny? Once upon a time, I preferred them to email me or text them. Now I like Messenger because I can add them into my shop, and then you never lose them. So thanks for your message. You were interested in getting information about earning money on Facebook, just in case he's forgotten. We work online and offline, and a small selection of the items is in our online shop. Here's the link. Just ask to join and I'll add you and put up your shop link. If you could then have a look at the 15-minute video at makemoneyfromfbinfo.com, this will show you what's involved. And if you're still interested, once we've watched it, we can take it from there. Speak soon. I like the speak soon because it lets them know that I want to talk to them at some point. Some people will come back to you with a comment as soon as they look at your shop. Now that's fine. Some people won't have done anything and they'll come back with a question. Often it might be, is there any money up front? And I always respond to that immediately. But maybe a comment, lovely stuff, can I have more information? Now, I do go back and say, hi Jack, please, you like the products, they're lovely, aren't they? And they sell really well. Not sure if you've had a look at the video yet. It's just 15 minutes long. It explains exactly what you have to do to earn money, so please watch it all the way through. If you're still interested, once you've watched the video, we can have a chat and I'll explain where we go from here. Speak soon. Because you see, often in my experience, they haven't looked at the video. They've looked at the shop and they want you to explain it to them so they don't have to watch the video. Because people are quite often a wee bit lazy. So just encourage them to go back and look at that video. Oops, where am I? If they do join your shop or come back with a question, remember I mentioned startup, is there a startup cost? I always send back a message and tell them exactly what it is. Well, when I say exactly, I don't go into War and Peace with how many kits there are. I just tell them it's £25 and give them a wee bit of information about the personal websites, access to thousands of products with no stock to buy or hold. And most people will make their money back within a few days of joining, which they do, provided they do something with it. Not everyone does. So why don't you have a look at the video explaining how you'll earn money? Now, here we go again. All I'm doing is repeating myself. There's some stories on there, but new people, let me know what you think. Once you've watched the video, we can have a chat and I'll explain where we go from here. So you can see I've really put a lot of thought into how I can do all of this. It just repeats, just like us repeating the trainings. I'm just repeating myself again. Now, there are a number of things that can happen at that point. Some people will get back to you and say they've watched the videos, they're interested, or they might even say they just want to get started. Now, if they say they want to get started, what I'll do is say, great, really pleased to hear it. You must have enjoyed the video. Do you want to have a quick chat with me before you get started, or will I just send you the link? Some people don't want to talk to you and will send it back saying, no, just send me the link. Do what they're asking you to do. Sooner or later, they will talk to you. But you really have to be guided. You can press the button on your phone when you know the people are active on Facebook. You can press your call button and see if, you know, they might have a wee chat with you then. But you might not hear from them. But if they do say that they want to get started, you know, ask them, which interested you most, online or catalogues? That way I can send you the link for the right information to get you started as quickly as possible. Once your new person's registered though, you're wanting to find out a wee bit more about them. If you haven't managed to speak to them before they join, you really do want to find out a wee bit more about them. Because the more you know, the more you can help someone. At the moment, you don't know how much money they want to earn, and that's really important. You might want to find out though what they're doing, what you're doing, what were you looking for when you found Clean Easy, what are you doing just now? Do you have children? Find out, that lets you know what kind of time they've got. There's no point in you saying, I'll do a plan with you so you can get £200 a week in income. If they work full time and they've got 2 children, it's just not going to happen probably from day one. And you want to tailor that plan to suit each individual person. So how much money would you like every week? How much time you have available? And what did you think of the team building? Is that something that interests you? And would you like to get started immediately with the team building? Or would you prefer it to be a wee bit further down the line? You want to tell your story about the team building. And if you send this circles, what we call the circles, to them, then this lets you talk through it whilst you're telling your story. Our story is, Jim found the business. He saw an ad in the newspaper. We wanted to replace his income, a couple of £1,000 every 4 weeks. But we wanted to do it alongside full-time work. We didn't want to give up our jobs at that time. We wanted to do it alongside, so it had to be something we could do part-time and grow it. And I worked full-time in the region of about 50 hours a week, and Jim worked between 60 and 72 hours every week. And we built that to a gold business around our full-time jobs. So it wasn't that you were better, it just meant you had to use your time really effectively. We did £1,000 of retail every 4 weeks without fail, and it probably took us, depending on whether or not I blethered too much, it probably took us between 8 and 11 hours a week, depending on how far. We didn't have to travel very far, but you all know how to do that. £1,000 of retail every 4 weeks gives people their bonus, and that's what's important. It may well be though that when you say, now, are you ready just to get started, or do you want a call? They might just even come back and say, well, I've got a couple of questions. Again, I always try to speak to people. Are you free to have a quick word on the phone? It'll be a bit quicker to explain it to you. Or would you rather we just covered it via Messenger? A couple of questions I'll cover via Messenger. But if there are more, then you do have to say, listen, this would be so much quicker, so much easier. Are you free? Can I give you a call? And, you know, it's the only way to do it, really. If you haven't heard from them, though, you know, if for example, you've sent the information, you know that they've looked at it, they've joined your shop, but they're not responding to anything else, send them a wee message. Hi Jack, I wondered if you had watched the video, and if so, are you interested? It doesn't have to be clever. It just has to be done. Quite often people do need prompted, and sometimes you don't hear from them again. We don't know what other people's lives are like. So you can see if your message has been read, but you really don't know what's happening. You can maybe send them another wee message. Hi Jack, I hope you've had a look at my online shop. I thought I'd send you some more information how you can earn some money. Here's the link. The video is just 15 minutes long, and I hope you'll have a wee look at it. If there is no response whatsoever, and you know that they've looked at the messages, then I don't mean the next day, but certainly within 5-6 days, I would send another wee message saying, hi Jack, I hope once you aren't so busy, you'll be able to have a look at the video link. Just message me if you want anything else. Now, hopefully, they've joined the shop, and that means that you still have them, which means that you need to keep your online shop not just ticking over, but looking good. Because if you've got people who are interested in the business in your online shop, they may well just be sitting watching to look and see what, you know, how everything is, if it's, you know, what they're doing. You know, so just kind of keep in touch with them. Keep in touch and keep your shop bright and beautiful. If they respond with a not for me, message them and thank them. I always think it's great if they say, no, this is not for me. Thanks for letting me know. That was good of you, I appreciate it. If your circumstances change, I hope you'll keep me in mind and get back in touch. Or if one of your friends are looking around, please pass on my name and contact details. You want them to be in there, and you also want them to know that you've not given them any grief, you've not pushed them, you've managed to do it nicely so that they don't feel hassled or stopped. And what that shows them, though, is the fact that if you're not doing that to them, then they'll pass on their friends' names and addresses, because they know that you'll treat them with respect. Once you're finished with someone, though, so that your messenger doesn't get all clogged up, archive them. Don't delete them, just archive them, because you can use those messages in your archive as a message responder. You can, you know, maybe something comes up, something new catalogues are coming out, a new range of products. Well, we know that they're not a wholly new range of products, but you know, it's something, some information that you can tell them about. A new destination. Clean Easy have just announced the new destination. Things like that. It allows you to broadcast a message to people who already know that what you do and that you've sent the link to. Don't inundate them, or they'll delete you. It's really important that you keep them. Now, that's us concentrating purely on Facebook. However, we do get leads from other sources. Remember, we covered it last week, where you've got lots of other ways to contact people. But the one thing that we have to do to all of them, regardless of where we're getting them from, is get in touch with them. Now, many of us feel like this about a telephone, especially when you first join the business. It often looks as though it's going to jump up and bite you, and it won't. It really won't. You might not like what you say the first time. You might not like what you say the second time, but don't let anybody listen to you, and it's only you that doesn't like it. You know, and anyway, always remember, you know far more about the business than anybody else does, even if you've only been in it 2 or 3 days. And it's a sorting process. Go on to a telephone call knowing that, you know, your belief in the business will ensure that you'll have a business. Whether it's big, small, or whatever, you will have a business. You will have a business whether the person you're about to speak to joins or not. Why? Because it's you that's building that business. It's not the person you're going to talk to. Now, if that makes you feel better about a telephone, so be it. But it's the truth, nonetheless. So it is a sorting process rather than a convincing. You're not looking to convince people. Convinced people need convinced to set up the shop or go out with their catalogues. Then they need convinced to go and put on the next day's posts or collect their catalogues. Don't convince people. Just let them know what you know about the business. Don't persuade them. You can answer their questions honestly. You can be enthusiastic. You can tell them it's a great business. All of that's quite true. But they make the decision at the end of the day. So we just sort through the inquiries to find out people who are open-minded enough that want to have a conversation with us and want to find out a wee bit more about Free and Easy. And the call never changes. It doesn't matter who you're speaking to or whether it's a first time, second time, or a third time. You always open the call. You always set the agenda. We always ask questions. We present the information and we gain commitment. Opening the call's nice and simple. And remember, we've got 2 ears. We've got 1 mouth. Now tonight I'm using several mouths because it's only me that's talking, and I'm very aware when I tell you about that. But when we're doing telephone calls, it's, hi, can I speak to Jack, please? Usually, often anyway, they'll say, can I ask who's calling? Certainly, hi Jack, my name's Jane White, and you responded to an ad about earning extra income working from home. And then listen to what they say. Sometimes they say, no, I don't think so. So what I do is, it might have been something online that you were looking at. Are you looking to earn some extra income just now? And often the answer is yes. Sometimes you will get somebody that says, no, not at all. Someone must have filled in my details. And all I do at that point is say, that's no problem. Would you do me a favour, now that you've got an open telephone number, if any of your friends are looking to earn some extra income, would you pass on my name and number, it's Jane, and get them to get back in touch? It doesn't, if you've paid for that ad, try not to say to them, do you know I pay for those ads, that your friends are doing this? Try not to do that. That's like giving a customer a bit of hassle because they've lost your catalogue. You don't do that, eh? So set the agenda. The reason for my call is really just to give you a wee bit more information. And to help me to do that, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Would that be all right? So then you want to take notes. This is where paper and pencil becomes important. Do you mind me asking, Jack, what made you respond to the ad? What are you looking for? And if they say, well, I don't really know, I usually prompt and say, are you looking for some extra cash, or is it, what are you doing just now? Sometimes people really don't know. They've just seen an ad and they've just responded. Now, if they say, can you just tell me what it's about? Say to them, the reason I'm asking you the questions is so that I can tell you what it's about. But we have a very flexible business here, and I'd really just like to tell you the bit that's important to you. And usually I'll say there's no point in me explaining how you can earn £200 a week when really you're only wanting 50. And that kind of helps them to go back on track and bear with you. So what are you doing just now? Do you have any children? Just the same as you did on the Facebook ads, except this time you're using the telephone. How much money would you like to earn every week? Once you've got the information, then give them a bit of information. Now, at this point, they may or may not have looked at the video. Some people will do the phone call and then send the video link. Some people will send the video link and then do the phone call. You have to be guided by your sponsor as to what is best for you. Some people are not comfortable doing a cold call. Then send the video link first. That's entirely okay. We are looking for two different types of people. People who are maybe just looking for an extra £300 to £500 a month to top up their existing income or work alongside their children. And this is where you can put in, Jack might be a single parent and really just looking for £50 to £100 a week. So that's where you would say £300 to £500 a month alongside, and that's easily achieved alongside your children. We do this by marketing the products mainly, or if we're doing it online, mainly on Facebook, and by delivering and collecting home shopping catalogues. We might start off with family and friends and move on to people we don't know. But we're also looking for people who are maybe looking for a wee bit more income every month and who want to learn how to grow and lead their own group and do what I'm doing, which is really just speaking to other people and showing them how to earn a bit of extra income. Keep it simple. People like simple. So then people can often give you the reasons why the business would suit them. Once you've asked those questions, given them a wee bit of information, some people will just say, if the conversation dries up, say to them, would you prefer if I sent a video so that you can have a wee look at it? It's only 15 minutes long. Some people will say, listen, it sounds great. What company is it? I'll always tell them the company. And I ask them, have you come across Clean Easy before? In what way? What's your knowledge of Clean Easy? However, some people really, and I would think the majority of people do want more information at that point. And I usually ask them, do you use Facebook? Have you been on it for a wee while? I can show you how to make money from Facebook and explain how we make money, both from Facebook and from the catalogues. Share stories. Try to keep the call quite quickly. Ask them, do you think this might be something that would suit you? Give them a couple of team building stories. Would the team building interest you? Are you ready to get started? Again, it will depend how your call has gone, whether really that's the question you want to ask at this point. But do remember, once people have had that information, that's the question you do want to ask at some point. Are you ready to get started? explain some of the kits. Or, if you wish, Lynn does have an online presentation, and there is the address on the bottom of the screen. You can ask, though, if someone says, no thanks, it's really not for me, do you mind me asking, was there something in particular that made you decide against Clean Easy? We do use the word fuel felt found. You might want to cover some objections. We cover fewer objections now than we maybe did once upon a few years ago. And the way you use fuel felt found is really, really simple. If someone says, oh, I don't know if I could go to somebody's store with a catalogue and I don't use Facebook, just say, I know how you feel. I felt the same the first time I walked up a path, but I found that the people weren't peering at me from behind their curtains. They hadn't even realised that I was there, so it was much better. And that is the way I felt. And there's lots of people feel that way. However, you know, they may still decide it's just not for you. I didn't like Facebook, you know, things like that. Thanks for chatting to me, Jack. I hope you find something that you can, you know, that is for you. If you change your mind and want to get a bit more information, maybe there's somebody you know in your circle of friends that would be interested. Or alternatively, if you do change your mind, would you do me a favour, keep a note of my name and number and come back in touch with me. Always ask them, oh, there we are, ask them, you know, to come back to you, because really, that's what you want. Now, you can all unmute, please. Sorry, I should have said please earlier.